Welcome back everybody, it's show 15. You're listening to Kris Townsend presenting the Viva Vegan podcast, and we're in our second year. I hope everybody's had a really good Christmas, and I know that some of you have New Year's resolutions, and some of those New Year's resolutions may even be to go vegan if you're not already. So I just want to remind you that Viva are here to help you on every step of that way. You can access our information on viva.org.uk, or you can even go to our all-new 30-day vegan plan, which is 30dayvegan.viva.org.uk. But listen, there's plenty more about that later on in the show, because I interview our very own Vegan Recipe Club. Now, let me give you a quick lowdown with regards to what's happening on this month's show. We have a section from Lucy Cooke, who gave an absolutely cracking animal rights speech at the last Surge Animal Rights March in London. In previous shows, I've played you Earthling Ed's speech, Joey Carbstrong's speech. Why did I not know about this speech? I do now, and so are you. It's absolutely cracking. I also include a section from the Vegan Activist on how to go vegan overnight. This is a way of helping people that may just be new to veganism and listening to the show for the first time feel a sense of security with it, and hopefully through that realise it's easy and it's possible. Anything's possible if you put your mind to it. Now, the Vegan Activist, he creates educational videos, inspiring short films and powerful documentaries about veganism, and it's incredibly inspiring what he says as he demystifies veganism in general. I also managed to catch up with Viva Health nutritionist Veronica Powell, and I get her to talk to you and me about how to beat the January blues. Let's face it, over the Christmas period we've probably been overeating, over drinking, and now in January we may be paying for it. So she's going to give us some tips on how to do that naturally. We also catch up with Jane and Marianne from Vegan Recipe Club, who talk to us about our all-new 30-day vegan meal plan. Now, I've tried it. I've been vegan for years. I go on that site and look for new recipes. They're incredibly simple, really easily laid out. Anyway, they talk to us about that and how you can get involved and even get your friends involved. Viva founder Juliet Gallatley talks about Bristol Animal Save in Bristol. For those of you that don't know about Bristol Animal Save, the Save movement has empowered a lot of people to become more active, and there's more details about that in the show. We have music from vegan band Life, who I discovered at our last London Viva Vegan Festival, and the track's called Searching for Mum. Very, very poignant indeed. I also catch up with Rahana Sarah Jameen, who's a wonderful animal activist that I've had the pleasure to meet. Now, she was in the Bristol area at the previous Bristol Animal Save art exhibition, so I asked her to come in and talk to us about her journey with veganism and her newfound passion of zero waste. And lastly, I've put a section in this month's show where I want to inspire people who are thinking about creating a vegan business. So I interview people who have actually done that. So we've got local nut butter manufacturer Mike, who has set up a company called Nutcessity. Now, he makes homemade nut spreads, organic, vegan, gluten-free, and they're available in all the Bristol's independents. So I thought I'd bring him in to find out a little bit more about his story and hopefully see if he can inspire you guys to get going with your own business. You're listening to Kris Townsend presenting the Viva Vegan podcast every month. It's great to be back in January. I hope everybody's feeling all right. Keep listening for all the latest vegan news, views and interviews. And remember to subscribe on all platforms, listen and share. Without further ado, let's get going.
It breaks my heart, no exaggeration, to see the way that we treat animals as a world, as a nation. It is your duty, your obligation to go vegan. This has to stop. No negotiations. Or this world will not experience future generations. Vegans are pushy and use intimidation, but we do our best to hold back frustration. Sometimes it is desperation. Slit throats, castrations and mutilations. This has existed before every movement, the whole duration. All aboard the train of death, the slaughterhouse is the next station. Is this how we treat God's beautiful creations? Their life is more important than your temptation. Join this movement, let's get information. The cracks are building in your excuses, foundations. Freedom is not a privilege, it is a birthright. Not only intended for humans, so let's just recite. Thou shalt not kill! That's the wrong part. heart to highlight. No, I will flick the switch on and I will leave it under the spotlight. Because as long as you don't have to witness it, it stays out of sight. Sometimes I can't hold my tongue and exercise being polite. Because thou shalt not kill applies to animals too. Or is it because they are deemed less important than you? Says who? The animal's time has come, it is long overdue. I am not talking about only a few. Over 50 billion animals are murdered every year. Injustice and death suffocate our world's atmosphere. Imagine living in constant fear. This cannot be justified any longer. Veganism and animal rights are growing stronger, but the fight is still ongoing. We are here to portray what the media's not showing. Taking advantage of the unknowing. The blood in your cup is overflowing. Now it has spilled and tainted your hands red. With the blood of 1,000 innocent beings now dead. All for a piece of flesh to put in between your bread. And we have the audacity to claim that's why they are bred. Let's flip the table over and put yourself in their position. Kept in unnatural, disgusting conditions. All for someone to claim it's tradition. Oh, you wouldn't mind? I have my suspicions. Because if it were you, you would scream to be free. So I will never be quiet, as we all possess the key to unlock their cage. Just don't buy it anymore. Because believe it or not, we are not omnivores. Let's put it another way. Our body is able to digest processed foods. But that does not mean that it is natural to do. They are both detrimental to our health, that's a fact and it's true. I dare you to enter a slaughterhouse or animal laboratory. Oh wait, you can't. It's illegal due to the authorities because that is their territory to inflict suffering and pain in all its glory. But every animal in there has a story. Oh, but you should respect my right to consume animal products, it's my choice. Not when your food had a voice. Not when there's a victim on the other end of your knife. Oh, but we need meat to survive. Well, guess what? I've never had a piece of meat in my life. I am happy, I am healthy, and I am alive. Justification 3 is that they've had a good life. But that's not good enough. You think you've had it tough? You think you've had it rough? You are free. And as far as they can see, they never will be. Let me introduce you to my king. His name is Gary Yourofsky. Choose content with an open mind, and I guarantee you will agree that this is not the way that we are meant to be. Polluting our waters and cutting down our trees. Open your heart and practice the action of mercy. We need to respect animals, natures and seas. So let my voice pound like the beat of a drum over a world who happily remains silent and dumb. Let my words echo honesty and truth. Speak up for them like you'd want if it was you. Because apparently equality for all is hard to construe. While their babies are snatched and their throats are cut through. Their eyes injected with burning chemicals, all for a new shampoo. Standing at the top of this world, and it is a tragic view. Animals trapped in a prison disguised as a zoo. Except the only crime that they have ever committed was being born. One day the sun will rise over dawn, over a vegan planet!
At Viva, we rely heavily on the gifts that people leave to us in their wills. Without this generosity from our supporters, we would not be able to do the crucial work that we do, investigating industrial farming and slaughter, and saving animals. We also promote veganism to millions of people every year. Leave a legacy which will help make the world a better, kinder place after you are gone. Please consider giving to Viva in your will. To find out more, please visit viva.org.uk/legacies or contact Tony Wardle by email on tony@viva.org.uk or call 0117 944 1000.
It's show 15, it's January, and you're listening to Kris Townsend presenting the Viva Vegan Podcast.
Going vegan is one of the best lifestyle choices anyone can ever make. Just by changing a few simple habits, we have the power to transform our health while saving the animals and the planet. But how do you go vegan? The first step is to educate yourself. There is a great deal of confusion and misinformation around about a vegan lifestyle, so it's important to do some research from reliable sources. You can research these in any order, but here's the best order I've found for learning about veganism. Firstly, watch Gary Yourofsky's best speech ever for a general introduction to veganism. Then watch Earthlings or the Farm to Fridge video for information about the meat, dairy and egg industries. Then watch Forks Over Knives and Uprooting the Leading Causes of Death for information on health. And then watch Cowspiracy for information about the environmental impacts of animal agriculture. And for anything else you're unsure about, check out the sites adapt.org or Bite Size Vegan. The second step is to just stop eating animal products. Get rid of the meat, dairy and eggs and eat plant-based foods. It's a lot simpler than people try to make it. There's a vegan alternative for just about anything. For milk or yogurts, you can have soy milk, soy yogurts, there's almond milk, hemp milk, coconut milk, oat milk, there's vanilla soy milk, chocolate coconut milk, chocolate almond milk, and most of them taste better than cow's milk anyway. There are loads of great vegan ice creams and sorbets, but I recommend just freezing overripe bananas and blending them up, and then you can have flavourings of your choice. For cheese, there are loads of vegan cheeses around. Not all of them are very nice, but brands like Daya, Tofuti and Violife are definitely worth trying. Alternatively, you can use nutritional yeast, which has a nice cheesy, nutty flavour, and then mix it with something like avocados or hummus. There are plenty of vegan butters, vegan chocolates, and most dark chocolate is automatically vegan anyway. To replace eggs, you can try tofu scrambles and mix it with something like avocado. There are loads of vegan mayos and recipes for them. And for baking, there are loads of vegan egg replacers. There are more and more vegan meats coming out, and you can also just use beans or lentils in place of the meat. But none of these foods are really essential for making tasty, healthy food. Focus on just eating the whole plant foods like fruits, vegetables, potatoes, corn, pasta, rice, beans and greens, and you'll get everything you need. And don't go vegan for the sole purpose of losing weight. The main reason why people fail at a plant-based diet is because they start with an orthorexic mindset and put unnecessary restrictions on themselves, try to be extremely healthy, and then end up not eating enough, and then feeling really bad as a result. Don't feel guilty for eating some vegan junk food. You can experiment with starch solution, raw and raw till 4 diets when you become familiar with living vegan, but prioritize the animals first, make it sustainable, and then the rest will fall into place. Look up some vegan recipes on YouTube channels or websites and just find some that work for you. There are tons of vegan what I eat in a day videos on YouTube for some inspiration, but here's some vegan meal ideas that I recommend. For breakfast you can have cereal with a dairy-free milk with added fruit and a juice or a smoothie. You can have oatmeal with added fruit, and you can just have fruit, whole or in a smoothie. For lunch you can have wraps, sandwiches and pittas with lots of veggies and salad, and a sauce like sweet chili sauce, ketchup or hummus. You can have like pasta, potato, rice or couscous salads with some kind of vegetable dressing and salad. For dinner you can have curries, chilies, pasta bakes, potato bakes, stir fries with noodles. And my favourite snacks can include things like fruit or like a vegan bar like a Cliff Bar, Trek Bar, Naked Bar, Frank Bar. There are loads to choose from. The meat, dairy and egg industries are 98% of the problem, but you'll still need to consider your clothing, toiletries and entertainment, because sadly we live in a world where it's considered normal to exploit animals for these things. Don't panic about clothing and animal tested products you already own. The damage has already been done once you bought it. Just make sure the next time you buy something, look for a cruelty-free alternative. And just live vegan. Don't worry about making mistakes, learn along the way. No one's perfect. Ask questions when you're unsure about something. Always keep an open mind and just be willing to accept new information. For unlimited support for wherever you are in the world, join some vegan Facebook groups and you'll find a range of answers and opinions for when you're feeling confused or need some support when faced with pressure from others around you. There are plenty of activists online that are happy to give you as much help and reassurance as you need, so just ask. And the last step is to get active. You don't have to go out protesting every day, but the vegan community needs more activists. You'll soon find out that once you know the truth about everything, you'll have an urge to do more. Make people tasty vegan food, make videos, share leaflets, just talk to people. It really doesn't matter what you do, just be a voice for the voiceless. Share the truth unequivocally and the ripples you will make will change the world. Just do what you can with what you have, and do it now. A lot of people get caught up in the victim mindset of making excuses and pretending to transition, for sometimes even years, rather than just taking action. The animals don't have time for people to take baby steps. The only ones who should take baby steps are the male chicks that are immediately ground up alive in the egg industry, or the baby calves in the dairy industry that are stolen from their mothers and put in tiny crates for veal. Anyone can go vegan overnight, so take the first step and be vegan.
As it's January, I've just seen Veronica from Viva Health walk past the podcast room. So I've said, hey, you, come in here and talk to us about winter blues. I'm in with Siobhan as well. How are you girls doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Yeah, okay. So it's January. We've all had a good Christmas. Vegan or not, we've probably stuffed our faces and we've all got the same winter blues type things. So let's get some advice for people. The first thing, I stuffed my face in December, I must say. I was staying at a friend's house and I wanted to show them all the amazing vegan food that they could have over Christmas. And obviously I had to eat it all as well. So what can we do about bloating?
A big question. There's so much you can do, but also all this is a bit individual. So it depends what exactly you eat, what combinations you eat. That's a big one, because for somebody, say beans don't cause any problems at all. For somebody, not so much.
Yeah.
For somebody, it's a complete disaster. But a certain combination of other foods, say if you eat citrus fruit and something very sweet, or if you eat something very sweet and something very acidic in general, it can cause bloating, or it can cause a combination that just has slightly disastrous effects.
Right.
So try to work out which combinations suit you and which don't.
To be fair, for me, I think I just ate so much gluten flour. So much seitan.
Yeah.
It's just like ridiculous. In fact, it was you, Siobhan, that taught me the sort of popcorn chicken type recipe. And I used Jane's seitan recipe from Vegan Recipe Club with your hot and spicy
jerk batter.
Yeah, and man, it is absolutely unbelievable. But I need to control myself a little bit more.
I mean, there are things like spices that you can use to reduce any chance of bloating or, or anything
What like?
unpleasant. So cumin seeds, fennel seeds.
What about any of those teas that you can buy, like the detox teas? Are any of them worth taking or trying?
Yeah, quite a lot of them have some fennel in them, some ginger that supports digestive health.
What do you reckon, pucca or yogi teas?
I like
They're very
yogi
good,
teas,
aren't they?
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. What else? I mean, immune boosting sort of things, I suppose, because it's January, your immune system's down.
Definitely. I mean, it's the old, same old, lots of fresh fruits and vegetables. Try to eat healthily. But speaking of which, fruit juices, that's a big question that I often get asked. If you think that a fruit juice is the same thing as eating fruits or vegetables, I have to say it's not, and disappoint you, because fruit juice is basically just sweet water.
Oh no, here's me doing the vodka and orange, thinking I'm clever, thinking detox at the same time. I'm really joking.
I wish, I wish. No, you just have to go straight to the source.
So we really do need to just eat, it's really about the whole food, fresh
either
vegetables
eat it whole
and fruit.
Or blend it into a smoothie, but don't buy it in a shop in a bottle or a box, because it's not the same as making it fresh.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
And Veronica, I have a tendency in the new year sometimes to feel a bit down in the dumps because the holidays are over. I've probably gained a few pounds over Christmas and I tend to sort of, not feeling 100%. So are there any sort of things that you can recommend to sort of give me a bit of a emotional boost?
It's a good question.
Like any foods or anything that can help you feel a bit more positive in the new year?
There's things like bananas, for example. Favorite all year round, but they do, apart from being delicious, they do have the amino acid tryptophan that your body needs to make serotonin, the happy hormone.
Oh, cool, okay.
So bananas are always a good choice, but also vitamin D is really, really important, and it's one of those things that if you don't have enough of, it can make you feel a bit sad.
Yeah,
seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah, but that's not just a vegan thing. That's a people thing in the UK, because we don't get quite enough sunlight.
That's why I wanted to mention it, because it's not a specifically
idea.
vegan thing. It's just everyone in the UK can suffer from.
So what can we do about that? About boosting our vitamin D?
Unfortunately, the easiest and the best thing to do is take a supplement.
I thought you were going to say go on holiday.
That's a slightly more expensive option, but if you can do that, do that.
Yeah. What about people that say, I just eat what my body craves and things like that at the time, and sometimes that can lead to all sorts of different things, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. I've heard that one so many times before, and
it's sort of
especially
devoid
to
of responsibility, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's like, I'll just
especially
eat
to
what my
excuse
body's
the bad
telling
habits,
me. Well,
Yeah, so quite often if you're craving something, it's a combination of, yes, you might want something fatty or something rich in protein. It's quite possible that your body really needs that, but it doesn't need the particular food. So if you're craving something fatty and you want a chunk of cheese, it doesn't mean you have to eat a chunk of cheese, because in your choices are involved so many sort of emotional attachments and your experience and your culture and your background. So you just sort of try to figure out what is it that you want about the food that you're craving, and then you can try to replace it with something healthier. So say if it's cheese, something that's maybe fatty as well, but healthier. So say olives, something with a strong taste to replace the other strong taste. Or if you fancy something really sweet, just try to go for something slightly healthier, like dried fruit and a chunk of dark chocolate, or something that's not completely different to what you originally wanted, but something that sort of ticks all the boxes, but is not necessarily the naughty or the bad food.
Okay, yeah. And that probably links, if people have got the cheese thing going on, they might, bearing in mind it's January, have had a New Year's resolution to go vegan. For January or during our 30-day vegan plan. So cheese might be an actual issue, isn't it? So what tips can we as vegans give to people that are just starting? Maybe our friends are just starting the 30-day vegan challenge or something.
So I would say probably signing up to 30-day vegan, because it's got so many, great recipes, and it's a great resource for people that are either really good at cooking or maybe not as confident in the kitchen. But also you can order the wall charts from our shop that have got what you need each day. They've got a breakdown of different foods and stuff, and different vitamins and nutrients that they provide. So it's a really comprehensive guide to what you need.
That's a great idea. So let's give people the details, because knowledge is power in this situation. How do people get hold of 30-day vegan meal plans?
They go to 30-day vegan, so 30dayvegan.viva.org.uk.
What sort of wall charts are there in our collection at the moment?
For Viva Health, you have 2 brilliant wall charts that have been a firm favourite with all staff, I think. One of them is what I need each day for good health. So that's a handy guide telling you what you need, how many portions of what type of food, so fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, pulses, and in what forms you can find it and why you need it. And then there's another one that's called Vegan Vitamins and Minerals, which lists each nutrient and the best sources and where to get it from on a vegan diet. And that's a handy one if somebody asks you, where'd you get your iron from, or where'd you get calcium? You can just look at that and say exactly where.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, well, look, I'm glad I brought you 2 in anyway, and hopefully some of this advice and some of these tips can help our listeners. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kris.
Late last year, Viva founder Juliette Gallatley went to speak at the Bristol Animal Save art exhibition in Bristol. For those of you that don't know, the Save movement has empowered a whole lot of people to become more active within animal activism. The Save movement is comprised of groups of people all around the world who bear witness to pigs, cows, chickens and farmed animals en route to slaughter. And once they've taken footage of these animals, they then post them on social media to a much wider audience. For those of you that know, there's nothing like seeing the eyes of a pig. Very, very human-like indeed. Anyway, during this art exhibition, Juliette spoke to the people at the exhibition and described the special relationship that Bristol Animal Save and Viva have. And here's what she said.
Viva and Bristol Animal Save, I think and I hope we're developing a very special relationship. It's a wonderful, wonderful sort of street level, if you like, active group. I've met Josephine now on several occasions, and we've just done a podcast about tonight, which we'll put out as Viva. And obviously, if you haven't been on a Bristol Animal Save, and actually you might wonder why you should do it, and the only way to answer that is by actually doing it, actually, and you will know when you go why it's important and how it shifts you and how it changes you. And Josephine, in fact, forwarded me a most wonderful document actually explaining why, from the founder of Animal Save over in Toronto, why she's done this whole thing, and it's incredibly poignant and moving, isn't it? And I'd encourage any of you to speak to people from Bristol Animal Save here tonight while you have the chance and just talk to them about it, because it is incredibly moving. I mean, it's a bit different for me because I've filmed in so many farms for so long, so I've looked into those animals' eyes for one reason or another. But if you haven't done that, going along and seeing them in those lorries and them looking at you and giving them one moment in their entire life where they hear a kind voice, maybe for the first time and maybe for the only time ever, and you can say your silent thoughts towards them, and you can interpret this how you like. For me, obviously I've met many, many, many animals who are being exploited, abused or in pain. And at Hogwood, you know, I mean, it was such a shithole, you know, you're meeting animals that are literally dying in front of you. And if that was me, and I was dying, and I was suffering, just to have a kind hand and a kind word, even if it's for a few minutes of your entire life, it is something that touches you and that you would want to happen, I would suggest. And it is incredibly moving, poignant, and you might think it's depressing and something that you can't handle, and maybe some people can't, but I think for most people, somehow it's empowering. Somehow there's just the feeling that we are going to change things, because maybe it's because we have to change things. And when you look into those animals' eyes and they look back and you make that promise, you know that you will never, never betray that animal and look back, and you will do all that you can within your life to change this precious world for all the creatures on it. And look at us all here today. We are now meeting people like us who get it, aren't we? All the time. Things are changing. And the Animal Save movement, which is, spreading across the world, is enabling people at a grassroots level to join together and to say, no, fucking no. This has got to end. It is not acceptable. It is not. It never will be. And there's something which I'm sure you've all thought of, but when I look in terms of the workers' eye at Hogwood, which is the equivalent of, for example, you from Animal Save talking to the lorry drivers who must be thinking, what the hell am I doing this job? Making it unacceptable to actually directly exploit like that. It was the same at Hogwood and places like that, where we've gone back and we've talked to the workers and actually said to them, why are you doing this? You do not have to play a part in this. And you can see their eyes getting big. Nobody's ever challenged them in their life before. And suddenly, things are going click, 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 click in their face, and everything that they've felt uncomfortable with, that they've put to the back, the recesses, the corners of their mind, which they will not allow to access. Like when you lock things away in your heart when you've been hurt, and somebody accesses that, and it comes pouring out. And that is what we're doing. We're doing it with them on a micro level, but we're doing it with the whole of society on a macro level. And this is why Animal Save is so important, and it's so important, and it's, to me, it's a privilege to work with Josephine and all of you, and just be with people who believe the same thing. I truly believe, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this, that together we can change the world. We are changing the world. Yeah.
Viva's undercover exposés are changing the face of Britain. Every year, millions of people see the true face of animal farming because of us, and they're changing their diet. Meat and dairy consumption is falling. By joining Viva, your donation will help to keep up this vital work. We need your support. Join Viva today so we can keep on saving animals from suffering. Join online at viva.org.uk/join. viva.org.uk/join.
Guess who I've just found walking the corridors? And it's one of the good things about having the Viva podcast studio in the same office as Viva itself. I've got Marianne and Jane here from Vegan Recipe Club. Hello.
Hello. Hello, hello.
Oh, hello. How you doing?
Yes, good, thank you.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, welcome back to the Viva office after Christmas. Now, the reason why I've got you in here now is basically because I thought, look, it's New Year's resolution time. It's January, and it's our new 30-day vegan time to shine, isn't it? Yeah, and it's
Absolutely.
all down to you guys. So can you tell us a little bit about the new 30-day vegan?
So 30-day vegan is basically an amazing resource for new and existing vegans. That's a really important point, actually, because a lot of existing vegans might think it's not relevant to them because, they've got lots of recipes already. But actually, there's 30 days worth of recipes there, including a can't cook, won't cook version.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm just
going to butt in there as well, because the can't cook, won't cook is kind of my baby, and I'm sort of want to brag about it a little bit. Because I think that when people go vegan, they think it's going to mean endless cooking. And cooking from scratch is great, but not everyone wants to or can do it every night. And some people just don't like cooking much. So we kind of came up with this half of the 30-day vegan. And I'm just thinking about, January, sometimes you want something fresh and really kind of something to make you feel really lively after kind of lots of stodge. Other times you just want stodge comfort on a cold night. So there's lots of different things there for you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously we've all been vegan for years years now, and I've looked at the 30-day vegan recipe plan, and there's loads of amazing ideas, all really simple. And again, with your Viva cookbook and the veganrecepiclub.org.uk site, it's all pretty much shop-bought ingredients, cooked in under an hour, job done, isn't it? And it's fantastic for that. It's really easy to use. What about, I tell you what, I had Viva Health in here earlier on, talking about like the winter blues. I know that obviously you guys do all sorts of different recipes there. Have you got anything on the 30-day vegan tip for people that might be quite healthy to help us feel a bit more healthy in January?
There are lots of healthy recipes on 30-day vegan just by default, actually. It's there's a really nice blend of healthy recipes, budget recipes, and sort of good old winter stodge, which can make you feel better in itself.
Tell me about it.
I mean, we've got, you know, a lot of the recipes have got some really, really nutritional ingredients in them. Lots of vegetables, lots of mood-boosting foods in there, lots of winter berries, things like that. So, you know, that the whole range is going to include something nutritious and uplifting in each of the recipes. So yeah, absolutely. And then on the VRC Vegan Recipe Club, I should say, website, we've got a whole mood food section. So if people do want to actually specifically find recipes targeted at that, then we've got a...
Wow, that's a great idea, actually. So how do people get hold of the mood food part of the site then?
So if you go on to www.veganrecepiclub.org.uk, and on the homepage you'll see there's a whole section dedicated to it, so you just click on the mood food section.
Well, the other thing about stodge is that stodge doesn't have to be bad. When people kind of a bit down on things like spaghetti and white rice, but I think if you make your carbs whole grain, they'll fill you up, they'll sustain you, and they're much better for you, and they've got far more nutrients in. So it's possible to have healthy stodge. And I think sometimes we need a little bit more ballast in the winter when it's cold. For example, like spaghetti, you could do a gluten-free spaghetti, you could do a rice spaghetti, or you could do a wheat spaghetti, but try and make it as whole meal as you possibly can. The occasional bit of pastry is great fun, but you wouldn't want to eat it every night necessarily. But there's ways of kind of integrating kind of comfort foods and healthy foods all in one. One of the recipes I really like personally from the Can't Cook, Won't Cook, it's a version of a street noodle salad which uses either bought noodles in a packet or ones you boil up. And you make a lovely tahini or peanut sauce, which is very quick. And you just have lots of grated vegetables like courgette and cucumber and chilli and all sorts of yummy things in there to taste it up. And some peanut sauce, which you can buy in a jar.
So can you tell me just quickly, how do you do a peanut sauce? You said it was really simple. How do you do a quick satay sauce?
Oh, I'll tell you. Basically, you can, if you make it from scratch, it's like peanut butter whisked in with some water, some soy sauce, bit of chili powder, maybe a bit of cider vinegar, and a couple of other things. It's not difficult.
Okay.
And just warm it through. Don't boil it because it makes it go too clumpy and thick. But just warm it through and then pour it over your noodles or your rice.
Yeah, and the amount of water you put in will dictate how thick or how unthick. What's the word?
Yeah. I mean,
how thick or runny?
Yeah. I mean, we've got a simple recipe on the website on the regular 30-day vegan, but on the Can't Cook, Won't Cook version, there's a guide to how to buy jars because some peanut sauces have fish in them, but the ones we recommend don't. They're vegan, so they're really easy to do, and you can add a squirt more of lime juice and make it your own a bit.
Hey, that sounds good. But listen, the reason for bringing you in was to talk about this new 30-day vegan because loads of people across the UK taking part in either Veganuary or wanting to go vegan for the month. It's their New Year's resolution. How do people sign up to ours?
Okay, so you need to go to 30dayvegan.viva.org.uk. One other thing is that the unique part about this programme is you can actually invite your friends and family to take the 30-day vegan challenge, and it's such a wonderful present that you could give to somebody either for Christmas or for the New Year, is to send them the email. So if you go to the homepage, it's at the bottom of the email, and get them to sign up for that, which is obviously going to be fantastic for their health, for the animals and the environment. So.
Well, fantastic. What a present to everybody involved.
And it's free.
And it's free. Yay! Jane, Marianne, welcome back to Viva. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So let's introduce some music on the show. This is a band that I've met at the last London Viva Vegan Festival called Life. Now, they're an electrifying indie couple, a couple of eco-warriors, and they're soulmates, and that feeling really comes across when not only you see them play, but also hear them play as well. A lot of their music is focused around raising consciousness on planet Earth. Here's a song that they've written with a real vegan message. The track's entitled Searching for Mum.
Why can't you hear me? My heart is weeping. Don't take my mother, she's mine. can't speak, but I feel inside. One day will you wake up, one day will you see these crazy things that you're doing to me. Wake up, humans, wake up. Wake up, wake up from your dream. Then you take me inside of this monster that I'm crammed in, I'm thrown in, and I'm kicked by you off to I don't know where. I can't breathe, move, feel. I miss my mom. I can't speak, but I feel inside. I sit in this prison that you call my home. I can't move, see. Nobody's listening, and it's frozen in here. I can't move, see. Calling my mom. She can't speak, but she feels inside. One day will you wake up, one day will you see these crazy things that you're doing to me. Wake up, humans, wake up. Wake up, wake up from your dream. Wake up.
What a beautiful track. Very emotional, very poignant with regards to veganism, hence the term Searching for Mum. I hope you can understand what that song was about by listening to the lyrics, and the fact that they're also together, I think, also adds depth and flavour to the song itself. Remember, there are show notes to this episode and all the others as well. So if you look in the show notes of the show, it will take you to the links of not only this band, but all the other articles in this show and previous ones.
30-Day Vegan with Viva. Sign up to our 30-Day Vegan programme and we'll email you with top tips every day for 30 days. Our tips include tasty, healthy meal plans, celebrity vegan inspiration, nutritional advice and health information. It's 100% free, so what are you waiting for? Go to viva.org.uk/30-day vegan. That's viva.org.uk/30-day vegan.
I'm here with Rihanna, Sarah, Jameen, her partner Andrew, and their beautiful daughter Frida. How are you guys doing?
We're really well, thanks. How are you doing, Kris?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. You're in Bristol today because you are...
Came down especially for Bristol Animal Save's Animal Rights exhibition. So it's been running since Tuesday, and they've got it on till tomorrow night. They've got some incredible artwork on show, and every night they've got speakers. And last night, I was one of the speakers, very happy to be invited, and I did a talk on zero waste.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic, great, because it's one thing being vegan, but there's also other things as well, isn't there? You know, that your imprint on the planet is more than just not eating animals, you know?
Totally,
yeah, definitely. Oh, fantastic. I appreciate that. And how did it go?
Really well. So I'm kind of used to being in a room of entirely vegans when I'm talking to them, so I made sure at the beginning that I found out what percentage of the audience was vegan, and I asked the non-vegans to put their hand up, not to throw things at them, but just for my benefit, so that it wasn't tailored just for vegans. So I think there were about 5 non-vegans in the room, and so I kind of changed it slightly on the spot, just so they wouldn't feel like they were excluded or like they couldn't be zero waste because they're not vegan. Because there are different ways to get into being vegan, and I know that I know some people who, you know, have got into zero waste first, and that's been their avenue to become vegan. So there's no right way to do it, and I think you can put people off if you make it sound like, well, you have to be zero waste and vegan. It seems too difficult.
Yeah, it's a natural process, though, isn't it? Because if you do care that much about the animals and your imprint on the planet in that way, it does make sense to go down the zero waste route as much as you can as well. I
think so. That's how it works for us. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, nowadays there are so many different ways of getting into veganism, anyway, isn't there? Where there never used to be. It used to be mostly animal rights.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever way works for people, it will always end up at animal rights at some point anyway, won't it? You know, it's just natural. Once you start delving into things, it's like when you become vegan, suddenly you do actually understand. You start learning more about nutrition in general, and it doesn't take long to work out that you actually probably understand more about nutrition than your general GP, who only has to take a 2-hour course as part of their whole course. You know.
Yeah.
So what are you doing in general?
More zero waste stuff. I mean, we're still really involved with the Save movements. We've kind of just recently come back from the from CARE in Vienna, which is the big animal rights conference there. So there's 2 big animal rights conferences in Europe. The one that they have in Luxembourg, which was in September, which we didn't go to, and then the one a week and a half ago, which was in Vienna. And so we were there with the Save movement. So we had the Save movement stall, and then 2 of the organisers from Toronto met us there, which was really cool because we hadn't actually met any of the Toronto team really. Well, with a couple of them who'd come over to the UK, but these were 2 that we hadn't met before, Carol and Alex, and they're both such incredible organisers. Alex gave the talk at the conference about the movement and how it all started with Anita and the co-founder, her dog, Mr. Bean, and kind of filled me in with some things I didn't really know about the movement because he, they work closely with Anita and see her every week. So we just come back from Vienna, and there was lots of interest there at the conference. Like most people have heard of the movement, and we set up a special vigil on the Monday. So the conference ran from the Thursday to the Sunday, and then on the Monday we arranged a vigil about 45 minutes outside of Vienna at a pig slaughterhouse there, and that was Austria's first vigil. And there was loads of interest, and I think about 25 people came. And it was good doing it straight after the conference because we'd explained that we were going to do it, so there were lots of people who were at the conference stayed on to come to the vigil with us.
Oh, brilliant. That's quite often can be an issue, isn't it? Numbers sometimes, because a lot of the vigils is not, I don't think it's because people don't want to. I think it's obviously sometimes the timing of it, because maybe people work and things like that. So I'm going to one on Monday morning, which is the Bristol Animal Save's first year anniversary, but that's like 8 till 5.
Yeah.
And if you're working, it must be so frustrating. I mean, obviously I'm working, but I work within animal rights, so it's easier for me to do that. But not everybody has that. So what was the numbers must have been quite good there.
I think it was between about 25, maybe about 30, between 25 and 30, I'd say.
Wicked.
And we arrived at about 6:30 at the slaughterhouse and had the opportunity to bear witness.
Yeah. What's your plans for the future moving forward then? So you've got the zero waste thing. What about because just to explain to the listeners, I first started dealing with Rihanna when I asked you to do a vlog for Viva, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you did a leaflet challenge one, wasn't it, I think, which is fantastic.
One,
yeah, really good. So obviously I know you from the animal rights sort of aspect, I suppose. Obviously we've been talking about zero waste. Are you focusing more on that now, or are you trying to incorporate both of them?
I'm definitely trying to incorporate both. We're still going to be really involved with going to vigils. It's something we do every week, and the movement is really important to us. We really believe in it. But I think since going vegan now, it's been about 3 years for us. Zero waste has become more and more of a bigger topic in our lives, and I don't think many animal rights vegans really talk about zero waste, and so because we're really involved with activism, I thought that was something that we could focus on, and also as a family. So we are still going to do vigils and be involved and travel with the movement and all that. But we're actually involved in an event next Sunday. It's a zero waste market in Sheffield. It's in Trafalgar Warehouse in Sheffield. And it's Heart Cure Collective's Zero Waste Market.
Oh, right, okay. Heart Cure, the clothing thing.
Exactly.
Oh, right,
so
okay,
we've been
fantastic.
working with them because they're based in Sheffield. And we really respect their kind of ethos with their clothes.
Jordan, isn't it?
Jordan and Georgia,
Yeah, great, yeah.
So we're doing work alongside them, and they're also opening Heart Cure Collective, hopefully next March, which is going to be a big vegan social centre. I don't know if you've heard anything about it.
Not yet, no.
This is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
in the centre of Sheffield, and we are launching a zero waste shop there called Zero Hero.
High five.
This is an
Bam.
exclusive.
This is an exclusive, hot off the press. We're in Sheffield today because we've got our Sheffield Viva Festival tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Actually,
okay,
so you better mosey on back over there after this.
Well, we're back today. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, zero waste, veganism, it's all connected. It's all part of being a guardian of the planet, isn't it? You're not just a guardian to the animals. It's the planet and our fellow beings, Mother Earth, so to speak, as well. It's all so important, and hopefully you can help people connect the dots between waste and recycling and things like that. It's not even just recycling, is it? It's all sorts.
Definitely not.
I got an allotment I got it a couple of months ago, and I'm starting to make some headway now. I'm 1 minute away from my house. It's absolutely amazing to be able to start growing my own veg and stuff like that.
Have you just started doing that now?
Yeah. Anyway, look, I'm going to love you and leave you. I know you guys are busy, but thanks so much for coming today. And I'm glad Frida likes her toy goat. I got her. You do, don't you? Yay! Oh, what a lovely smile. And look, whenever you're in Bristol, just come over and say hi and come in and let us know what you're up to and stuff like that.
Sounds great, yeah.
Brilliant. And if you get any time at all, it'd be great to be able to do another vlog for Viva at some point.
Okay.
Rihanna, lovely to see you as always.
And you, Kris.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
It's January, and if I can recommend one more New Year's resolution, it would be for you to go through the previous episodes and download them all. They're absolutely wonderful. They're a huge source of information on vegan news, views, and interviews. That's the Viva Vegan Podcast. You can check it out on Apple Podcasts and all major platforms. Get going now.
This is Kyle, aka the Vegan Rapper. You're listening to Kris Townsend on the Viva Podcast, giving you all the information you need every month.
Next up, I interview local nut spread manufacturer Mike from Nutcessity, and we're going to talk about how he set up his business and hopefully get some advice about how you can do the same if you have an idea about a vegan business. Here's what we said.
So Nutcessity is my take on nut butter. I couldn't find exactly what I wanted in the shops and began making my own at home, experimenting, seeing what worked, what didn't work. But I wanted to create a vegan, organic, pure, completely natural nut butter without peanuts that actually tasted amazing.
So how long has Nutcessity been around?
About 13 months now. Yeah, last August.
Okay. Is that from the idea?
No, that's when I actually was like, right, doing this, and I actually started the business. I registered a company and stuff.
So that's from the idea stage, really.
So, oh God, I've been thinking about it for 2-3 years before that. And actually, eventually got to the point where I was like, right, just got to actually do it.
Yeah. This is one of the things, you see, because I think a lot of people think about it for years, but maybe feel, God, well, how do I get from there to there? It just maybe appears like a pipe dream or a bit unobtainable. So what was it in you that made you think, right, okay, I can do this, I'm going to do this, I'm doing it?
It's funny, because a couple of years ago when I was living with my folks in Midlands, I started this Mike's Nuts business, and then I was making these, and I had plans to sell them at local markets and stuff, and I didn't do it, and I kind of thought, oh God, I'm never going to do this. Like, it's just not going to happen. And having moved to Bristol and met a few people, that really started to get into my head, and then I just got the confidence boost I needed to start.
So you've actually got into some retailers, haven't you? Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So how did that happen, and who are you in?
Better Food Company, Chi Whole Foods, Alfida Road. Harvest Bristol now.
Yeah.
Source Food Hall.
So you've done the local health food shops. So is that what you would recommend to people then, to start locally first and then build out, so to speak?
Yeah, whether or not you have your own website and sell online, which I do as well.
You do?
Or sell via social media or eBay or whatever. So I know some people who do that.
So you've got retailers, online sales, going out and about. What percentage is your business?
I guess like probably 50% retail now. I still get quite a few regular people coming back for more at the food assembly, which is really lovely. You just get to say hi again. Cool, sort of an even balance, I guess.
Yeah, sure. So what are your plans for the future then, Mike?
I want to expose as many people as possible to what I make because I think it's good for their well-being. It's something completely different that I found, I think, a little gap in the market for. So I want to get enough money to make it viable through Ocado, through Waitrose, through Holland & Barrett eventually one day. Haven't quite worked out how to get there yet, and I'm sure there'll be lots of bumps in the road.
So what advice would you give to people who are thinking about starting up their own business?
Speak to people, as many people as possible, not your family, not your friends. Be weird, be completely offbeat, and just go into your local town or city centre and just speak to people. And just say, I'm thinking of doing this. Do you think it would work? Would you buy it? Would your friends buy it, do you think? I did like a questionnaire and interviewed about 100 people. I really enjoyed that actually, and I got a lot out of that, and that sort of gave me the little burst that I needed to be like, yeah, I think it's going to work.
So who are your competitors?
I don't know. I don't like to think of other businesses as competitors. I like to think of them as like ways to sort of inspire me and give me a little bit of direction, get a bit of inspiration from, and I'm trying to speak to as many business owners as possible to like get their advice and their opinions. Lots of competitors, but it's good to have competitors.
They're just friends you haven't met yet. Yeah,
exactly.
It's really, really tasty.
Oh,
spread, really good. I'm sure it's really healthy as well. Yeah,
keeps me going.
Brilliant, fantastic. So, if listeners should buy one of them, which one would you recommend? Which is your favourite?
Okay, so I find the carob, cashew and coconut, I find that one the most Moorish. So if you've got a little bit of a sweet tooth, I'd go for that one. It's nice and sort of malty, caramelly, earthy. I'd go for that one.
What are your social media links?
Instagram and Facebook quite
Instagram,
regularly.
Instagram is where it's at.
So Nutcessity, Nutcessity.
Yeah, fantastic. Mike, listen, it's been a pleasure. Thanks ever so much.
Thank you
for coming in, and I look forward to getting another one of your jars.
Grand.
And, I'm going to try the one that you've recommended this time.
Thanks, Mike. Making some more. Thank you.
Well, that's it for another Viva Vegan podcast. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I've got to say, I love making this show, and I love listening to your feedback, which you can give me on viva.org.uk/Viva podcast. There's a little speak pipe button on the right-hand side. Just click it and leave your message. And you never know, I might even be able to play the message on the show. If this is your first show that you're listening to as part of maybe your veganuary or your 30-day vegan plan, you've just become vegan, remember there's another 14 shows to listen to. It's all relevant content, so subscribe, flick through the previous episodes, listen and share. Remember, be kind to all kinds and be back for the next episode. You're listening to Kris Townsend, and I look forward to speaking with you in February.